We started to, we announced to you that we will have the poetry reading at the college gazebo. We go through this afternoon, that it will be at the high school lobby, and finally we are here at the Triangle. And this is going to be a limited audience only. How I wish we can go out and show our guest readers to the whole student group. However, I think it's better here. Let us all stand for the invitation. I wanted to use this microphone because I look better here. I think we are all here. I request everyone, those who are standing, we still have 1, 2, 3, 4 chairs here. So you can pass by them. You can see on the presentation here, Ishari and I decided to have this because it attracted our attention. It seems the sky is flowing. And the question is, news. What's the news? I remember there was an album released by the Air Supply. There was one song titled News from Nowhere. And so this afternoon, I would like to begin by giving you why news of the universe. I explained this in class, but probably some people were a little bit confused. So I did not, I explained and then I stopped because probably the news is different. I'm receiving the news. Okay. News of the universe is not original. I did not coin it. It's by Robert Bly. Do you know Robert Bly?
Yes. Famous author.
You will know him. News of the universe covers poems which celebrate man's oneness with the universe. Contrary to the long-held belief that man alone is enough, sometimes you say, no, I can live alone. But you're not. You can't live alone. Or, I alone is enough. I'm already enough to survive. Or I'm already enough without your love. Many things. Contrary to the long-held belief by the old world, Alexander Pope, the metaphysical poets, that man alone is enough. News of the universe says that man together with other creations compose the mysteries of time, space, matter, and eternity. So probably when, as students, you were bothered at one certain moment wherein you paused and then you looked at the sky and you wanted to put it inside you, but you can't. And then you wonder, did my father think of this too? Were they wondering, did they have the same wonder? Or they have the same amazement? These poems were first revealed in William Blake's Marriage of Heaven and Hell. Blake looked at heaven and hell not as two separate places, but something that encompasses each other. Hence, poems that will be read this afternoon, including some Anilongo poem, will try to delve into that. Relationships with man, God, heaven, hell, sky, animals, past, future, and family are all covered by the news. This theme also echoes the voice of the naturalist Henry David Thoreau, who believes that the world is talking to us every day. And we only have to pause and listen because it speaks to us. No matter who we are, who we were, what we will be, as the greatest scheme of things unfolds right before us. In the book Alchemist, Paulo Coelho, or the character there said that these are not omens. Watch out. These are not omens, but they are actually things connected to us. In the book The Secret, it says, your mind, what you have in your mind, if you pull your body towards it, it will happen. And indeed, it happens most of the time. The universe conspires to make it happen. That's a line which you should believe. Nothing happens by chance, according to the psychic Jaime Licauco. He believed that nothing happens by chance. I was led here by something, by an energy. Or sometimes the hunter wonders why, when he has already cornered the prey stopped and did not ask for pity, but stared at the hunter. And then the hunter and the prey parted silently. The hunter did not fire a shot. The prey did not also refuse. Something, an understanding happened between them. Maybe there is a God out there, or there is indeed a God. There is really a God. And there is a language higher than all this language, which you and I and other living beings will be, and we will be understanding each other later on. From air, you came from air, to cell, to organs, organism, system, nervous system, digestive system, skeletal system, then man. And last Ash Wednesday, we were reminded, return to dust, to air again. So maybe we are connected. This is the reason why we are here this afternoon, to find out what's the news. And the order of our readers, we will start immediately. We have Michael Gonzalez, Hannah M. Nasi, Marietta Trimpe, Janelle Laxina, CJ Urbano, Angelo Juarez, JM Villa, Monica Cueto, Ryan Natividad, and Neil Condado. Part 2, we will have our guest readers. You will see them now, but I will introduce them later. You just find out where are they sitting. And then David Toro said, I never read newspapers. Everything that happened today has happened before. Good afternoon.
The Night Abraham Called to the Stars by Robert Bly. Do you remember the night Abraham first saw the stars? He cried to Saturn, "You are my Lord!" How happy he was when he saw the dawn star. He cried, "You are my Lord!" How destroyed he was when he watched them set. Friends, he is like us. We take as our Lord the stars that go down, and no one can convince us that mud is not beautiful. It is our badger soul that thinks so. We are ready to spend the rest of our life. My heart is a competitor by day and a whipping abandoned woman by night. Friend, tell me what to do, since I am a man in love with the setting stars. Thank you.
40 acres. Out of the turmoil emerges Fernando, and in craving, a young nigger at dawn, a straw hat and overalls, an emblem of impossible prophecy, a crowd dividing like the furrow which a mule has plowed, parting another festive. A field of snow-fleet cotton, 40 acres wide, a crows with predictable omens, that the young plowman ignores for his own forgotten cotton-haired ancestors. While lying in one branch is a tense court of his spectacled owls, and on the field's receding ring, a gesticulating scarecrow stamping with rage at him. The small plow continues in his line page. Beyond the mounting ground, the lynching tree, the tornadoes, black vengeance. And the young plowman feels a change in his veins, heart, muscles, tendons. Till the land lies open like a flag, stone's sure light streaks the field, and furrows wait for the sower. Oh my! Oh my! It wasn't until the second time through that I saw the furrows in the field, like stripes in a flag, and saw the scarecrow insisting that change cannot come, and heard the crows calling. We must ignore them. We are the sowers. We have the seeds of promise. The young president is plowing the field. To my soul, I say, get up! You, get up.
Peace by Henry Bohan. My soul, there is a country, far beyond the stars, where stands a winged sentry, all skillful in the wars. There, above noise and danger, sweet peace sits crowned with smiles, and one born in a manger commands the beauteous clouds. He is thy gracious friend, and oh my soul, awake! Did in pure love descend to die here for thy sake. If thou can't get but thither, there grows the flower of peace, the rose that cannot wither, thy fortress and thy ease. Leave then thy foolish ranges, for none can thee secure, but one who never changes, thy God, thy life, thy cure.
Man destroys, nature salvages. How nature creates life that fears with ease. How nature sifts, selects, protects the best. Yet, man creates, sometimes with you sees, in ways unheard of, costly but with zest. Yet man destroys the human lives with ease, and nature too gets made beyond salvage. Destruction too is done for mega peace. Thus, man lives in an earth, he turned his cage. Who gave man rights to destroy his own race? Who gave him his freedom to procreate? And man has given earth a bizarre face. Most sufferings man-made will never abate. When will man know that life is good, precious? When will man learn his ways are bad, vicious?
You Hear Nature's Voice by Francis Duncan. You hear nature's voice in the river that ever flows on towards the sea. A voice destined to live forever and has lived for untold centuries. From the foothills of the high country, it babbles downhill night and day. By grooves and by ditches and hedgerows to salt water, it winds its way. You hear nature's voice in her birdsong, their music carrying in the breeze. The sounds that are refreshing, winds make rustling in the leaves of the trees. Some of the happier sounds of nature, though to nature there's another side. When nature she shouts out her anger, all others seeks her a safe place to hide. When nature she grows very angry, the fear of the world is in her cry. She shakes the earth, flattens great buildings. She roars and her lightning flashes in the sky. With the power of nature and a fury none other can hope to compare. You hear nature's voice in all seasons, winter, spring, summer and fall. You hear nature's voice in nighttime when her nocturnal creatures do call. You hear nature's voice, will live on forever. It's something not destined to die. As nature herself does not come and have a time span, as much are for mortals such as I. Thank you.
If you forget me, I'll probably never. I want you to know one thing. You know how this is. If I look at the crystal moon, at the red branch of the slow autumn at my window, if I touch near the fire, the impalpable ash or the wrinkled body of the log, everything carries me to you. As if everything that exists, aromas, light, metals, were little boats that sail toward those isles of yours that wait for me. Well now, if little by little you stop loving me, I shall stop loving you little by little. If suddenly you forget me, do not look for me. for I shall already have forgotten you. If you think it long and mad, the wind of banners that passes through my life, and you decide to leave me at the shore of the heart where I have roots, remember that on that day, at that hour, I shall lift my arms and my roots will set off to seek another land. But if each day, each hour, you feel that you are destined for me with implacable sweetness, if each day a flower climbs up your lips to seek me, ah, my love, ah, my own. In me, all the fire is repeated. In me, nothing is extinguished or forgotten. My love feeds on your love, beloved. And as long as you live, it will be in your arms without leaving mine.
Before we proceed to our next reader, may I remind our audience to please set your phones in silent mode and please don't use them here because it will get into the system and your phone will shout. JM.
To look at anything by John Moffat. To look at anything, if you would know that thing, you must look at it long. You look at this green and say, I have seen spring in these woods. Will not do it. You must be the thing you see. You must be the dark snakes of stems and the ferny plumes of leaves. You must enter into the small silences between the leaves. You must take your time and touch the very issue. The very piece the issue.
Seeing Clearly by Judith Bellows. The devil is happy when we hang our heads and cannot see heaven so clearly. He delights at the misery many souls suffer, even afflicting some souls severely. So they cannot make heads or tails, which forces them to come unglued, that they cannot cope with life at all, choosing an ending so hard to construe. Many have numbed their pain with liquor, and some swallow a handful of pills. But I am here to tell you, my brother and sister, with God, you'll be able to climb that hill. One day at a time is all you need. If you'll just keep focused on the promised land, He will see what's truly in your broken heart and extend His loving hand. So that your focus on heaven is transparent and you will cling to that vision thereof and resist all the temptation around you, reaching for an unfined love above. Thank you.
The City in the Sea by Edgar Allan Poe. Lo, death has reared himself a throne in a strange city lying alone. Far down within the dim west, where the good and the bad and the worst and the best have gone to their eternal rest. Their shrines and palaces and towers, time-eaten towers that tremble not, resemble nothing that is ours, around by lifting wings forgot. Resignedly beneath the sky, the melancholy waters lie. No rays from the holy heaven come down on the long night time of that town, but light from out the lurid sea streams up the turret silently, gleams of the pinnacles far and free, up domes and spires of kingly halls, up fanes of Babylon-like walls, up shadowy, long forgotten bowers of sculptured ivy and stone flowers, whose wreath freezes intertwine, the violet and the vine. Resignedly beneath the sky, the melancholy waters lie. So blended turgid shadows there, that all seem pitiless in air. For from a proud tower in the town, death looks gigantically down. Their open veins and gaping graves yawn level with the luminous waves, but not the riches there that lie in each idol's diamond eye. Not the gaily jeweled eye tap the waters from their bed, for no ripples curl, alas, along the wilderness of glass. No swellings that tumbling winds may be upon some far-off happier sea. No heaving sin that winds have been on seas less hideously serene. But lo, a steer is in the air. The wave there is a moment there, as if the towers had thrust aside in slightly sinking the dull tide, as if their tops have feebly given a void within the filmy heaven. The waves have now a redder glow, the hours are breathing faint and low, and when amid no earthly moans, down, down the town shall settle hence, hell rising from 1,000 thrones shall do it reverence.
The hand that signed the paper. The hand that signed the paper fell the city. 5 sovereign fingers taxed the breath. Double the globe of dead on half the country. His 5 kings did the king to death. The mighty hand leads the sloping shoulder. The finger joints are crumpled with chalk. Augustus' quill has put an end to murder that put an end to talk. The hand that signed the treaty bred a fever, and famine grew and locusts came. Great is the hand that leads dominion over man by its scribbled name. The 5 kings count the dead, but do not soften the crescent wound nor stroke the brow. The hand rules pity as a hand rules heaven, hand that has no tears to flow.
Thank you very much, our dear readers. I would like to introduce them again. The last reader a while ago was Neil Fontano. Neil, can you please stand? I think Neil was reading Bilang Tamas. Yeah, okay. And the man with the very husky voice is Ryan Natividad. This is Raisa, student in Lebanon. And we would like to acknowledge the presence of Mrs. Trimpe. And the mommy of JM, Mrs. Villian. And the mom of Raisa. You asked to say mom here. I thought your fathers. Look like fathers. Okay. I would like to start from with 10, 9, 8. Our 8th reader is Monica Cueto from grade 9. Number 7 is J.M. Villian. And J.M. told me he was going to play futsal. I think the game has already started. And the reason why we're here is I don't want to hear the futsal. We don't want to hear them also. Okay? So, are there futsal people? Okay. We have number 6 reader, the cute guy. The biceps, Angelo Juarez. I remember when I was in grade 5, there was a radio drama entitled Urbano. CJ Urbano. We have from the grade 8. You won't think she's grade 8. She read it like she's grade 10. Probably when she's grade 10, she will look like grade 8. Janelle Laxina. And she has a twin who writes really poems, I tell you. But I did not choose Lucien because there were so many good readers. I think Lucien is like, she got a very high score. Then I was torn between the two, and I got I decided it's going to be Marietta. I was torn between the two, so I did the game. What game is that, Justin? No, meaning my meaning is English. In Ilonggo. Sintot. No. I have to choose one from the female and one from the... We have, I thought she's Sarah, but this is the younger sister. And I felt that, I think she's declaiming because during the elimination I saw her do some, I realized that she's a veteran. We have Hannah M. Nasser. And the first, who is now the last, is Michael Gonzalez. It's the silent news. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, we are now going to proceed to the part 2. And you know, do you remember the movie Rambo? You know Rambo?
Yes.
What is about Rambo? Stallone. Sylvester Stallone. They will do a movie now with Manny Pacquiao. It's,
Rambo 2, Rambo 3.
I think it's part 5, no? Pacquiao will be the boxer, I don't know. But Stallone as Pacquiao, you will be my next partner in this. Now, they say that a part 2 in any movie may not be good. Many part 2s were not successful, no? So they're not making a part 2 of the Golden Compass because it flopped, although the story is very good. But they made a part 2 of Lord of the Rings, which was better than the part 2 of Rambo, I think, or other movies. And Rambo made a part 3 which was good, and it made a part 4 which I watched, and then I said, I'll go back to part 1. Part 3 of Lord of the Rings was better, and I think it was good. It survived 1, 2, 3, and they're making the 4th, which is, I think, the Hobbit, and they're going to fly. Now, part 2, this time in our reading, is composed of the veterans. We sent 4 letters, and 2 of them responded. Our first reader, we will now go. They're veteran writers, I tell you. So in other words, they have already processed. So we say in battle, we should have, the veteran leaves for another. I would like to ask the first one. May I request Miss No to Miss Jane to please sit here so that they can see you better.
But if I cannot see that, if I'm there.
They can see you. Okay. Our first reader is new to you, but not to me. Okay. Our first reader is a lawyer by profession. He has been here since we started the poetry reading, and then last year he wasn't here. He's busy, I think. He is a poet. He is also a fictionist. He writes short stories. And he is a lawyer. He is in fact the Dean of the Graduate School of University of St. Salle. College of Law. So, he recently came out with his first book of poems, Days of Grace. You have no copy? Okay, there are still copies at the bookstore, I think. And he has won a Palanca Award for his poetry in English. He won third place for the collection Illuminations and Sonorities, which is my thesis, which I have not yet finished. I'm still working on it. He is presently the Dean of the College of Law of the University of St. Salle, and last time he told me that he's going to come out with a second collection of his book. And in this Handuraw, which I happen to get a copy, there are some of his poems are here. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to, it's my privilege to introduce to you Attorney Raimundo Candano.
Thank you, most of the father advice. Usually I don't recite my poems if they've not been at least a year old. But for some strange reason, I was preparing 2 poems. I decided to read 2 poems which I just wrote. And so this is like unfinished. Edward Hirsch said, "Poetry is a means of exchange, a form of reciprocity, a magic to be shared, a gift. It saves something precious in the world from vanishing." These are my gifts of poetry to this afternoon. We are not what we have been told. Instead, we are clothes or cold skies and empty mountains. We are laughter and weeping in the small brook. We are a boy naked in the rain, but also the prayer for a raincoat, shoes for the softness of mud. We are the mornings when even the old ancient trees and the dying nightingales become renewed. We are the evenings looking back in joy, even when the cicadas are singing elegies to the disappeared clouds. But we are not what we have been told. We inhabit our painful, beautiful bodies here. We are not going anywhere. We will cast nothing off. The truth is, instead, we are staying here. We are what's not missing. We are what's not missing. We reinvent the air. We furrow the earth. We are what takes up space, that which subsists between our fingers, where heaven stands aside, where grass part at our passing. We are which has volume. Water flows over our skin. The air darkens through our fingers. Our weight disturbs the wind. Height, heft, this we have in measure, and mark us, even if at times not for good. Where else is there width? Which else deepens the path with a slow feet and one step enough to set apart the world? Even if we are gone, much of us remain. Memory is not missed. Once we have been here, we will remain. We will always be what's not missing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sir Ray. They say that we always live something. Since we are not what we are, they say it would be best to live a good memory. So you always find some goodness in anything. Live a good memory. Our next reader is, by the way, we belong to the same writers group. I would like to plug this in para magsikat man kami. We organized a group because it's lonely out there. So we have a group, Jade, Tony Pandan, we have San Telmo Writers Room. Do you know San Telmo? You will know it when you walk in a dark road and then you see a fire flying towards you. And it chases you and it will eventually lead you to a place, and then it will disappear in that place. And that place, you have to go back the next day, bring your tools, because that's a place where you will find that. A treasure. Or a dead body. They say San Telmo appears where there was a vehicular accident, and then there is a blood spill, and San Telmo appears there. So in Tangog, last time, I think last week, there was, who lives in Tangog? San Telmo is our group, and our members are Attorney Pandan, Miss Jade, I am the youngest there, and Sita Silvena, and many others who sometimes are there and sometimes are not there. So, Miss Jinling, we have also some high school members. Sometimes they're not there because maybe they're tired of the old people. So, our next reader is she holds a degree in mass communication from University of St. Salle. She writes screenplays for independent productions and stage plays. And I think there was Ligaw Liham, and many others. And is a regular television scriptwriter for the ABS-CBN Regional Network Group in Bacolod City. She is now a part-time faculty of the College of Arts and Sciences. At USLS, she acts, she writes scripts, and I think she does some freelance sometimes. And she writes also poetry. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jane Snow Calderon.
Hi, good afternoon. What's so good in the afternoon? Grabe ka naman. Well, anyway, I'm not going to read my own work because I was given a theme, and actually I found one poem by an Irish contemporary poet. He is Francis Harvey, and the title of the poetry is actually News of the World. So, naka-instinct dyan. So this is what I will read to you. Time had beached him like a stranded whale on the bleak shores of a big grass bed. The past sang to him, the sea in a shell. I was his lookout at the window of the upstairs room. He'd cup his hand around his ear when I pulled out to him how many cows Stinson was grazing on the long acre now. I'd listened to the news of the world he knew long before I knew there was a world to know. And so it would go on with him left high and dry and out of his element by the tide and me, all eyes for the eyes that always seem to be looking beyond me at things I'd never be able to see. That's one. And the other is, this one is a favorite, and it's by Dylan Thomas. It's entitled, Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. The wise man at their end know dark is right, because their words set forth no lightning. They do not go gentle into that good night. Good men, the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in a green bay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Wild men who caught and sang the sun in flight and learned too late that they grieved it on its way. Do not go gentle into that good night. Brave men near death to see with blinding sight. Blind eyes could blaze like meteors and decay. rage, rage against the dying of the light. And you, my father, there on that sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light.
Thank you, Jay. Can you please give another round of applause for Attorney Pandal? For Jay. And for our third winner. Why are you leaving? I'm not asking, Okay. I thought you're leaving because I'm reading. Okay. There was an anecdote, a chance. No, you can leave. There was an anecdote, a chance. Now this is for the ladies. One poet said, few people, few ladies love poets. Only the intelligent ones love poets. In other words, forget it. I will not introduce myself because we know each other. This is the Handuraw 2007-2008. I think Jay has no copy yet. We were asked to contribute here, and I sent, I think, 5. And Attorney Pandal has poems here. So I think this is going to be mass-produced this year. It was a rumor that it will be mass-produced. If you get a copy, I'm just at the Crossroads office for autograph. So at least I feel like, you will feel like Piolo or Salle. Okay. When we started, I mentioned about the hunter post. It was in a story by William Faulkner, a writer, whom in the old copy of the National Geographic, the people in the community of William Faulkner was asked, do you know William Faulkner? The reply of the people said, that's the man who stays at the race horses and sometimes repairs fences. They did not know William Faulkner is a Nobel Prize winner for stories. Can you imagine that? And Faulkner is very inclusive, I think. But then, in one of the stories of William Faulkner, Race at Morning, the hunter, after chasing that stag for several years, he finally cornered it. And then the stag looked back at him, and they looked at each other for a long time, and they parted ways. The stag was waiting for the shot, and the hunter was waiting for the stag to run again. But the stag did not move, and the hunter was stunned, because it seemed that after several years of chasing, of running and chasing the stag, they finally understood each other. A language between the beast and man. This afternoon, I'm going to read a poem entitled The Race. I wish you will put a run for it, as your mother did for the last 2 years, before kneeling to a single shot. Of what use are your legs if you just stand there oblivious to the hum of death and wind and fall on the ground, betrayed by your home and by the sylph who adores your antlers? Man against your courage, my friend. You have to fly as I shoot, and give it a day, a try, a skill, down to the deepest bend of your forest, to your hidden retreat, watched by sotas and tamalos. I shall chase with faith, as far as my strength can carry, as long as your feet can brave. as far as your fate can sway. And maybe, because I am a man, maybe I'll give it to you at the end of the day. For another month, for another year of waiting, so that we both can rest in the arms of our lovers. It is not like this always in my world, but I am showing you that I still have the code on my forehead of the ones who chased you with bows and arrows in the old days of honor and valor. Thank you. The second one is, and this is the last, Odysseus in Greek mythology wandered, and he was always stopped by women. He stopped for women. In fact, he stayed there in that island. I forgot was it? I know. And men are animals, Calypso. Men are animals that can only be tamed by sometimes women. The animal tamer. Although she was never good at calculating the distance of how much the catapult can cover, or in what formation the infantry can rout the dragoons and pursuer, she won and made her point to let the animal move according to her touch and whisper. In the many years of campaign to conquer other empires, make slaves the people, and amass their fortunes, she made her presence felt by her breath and perfume. That no matter how long the war is, the animal always seeks her scent and braves the sea, the wind, the years of wandering alone in the mountains and in strange islands, just to find his rest in her being. For his tired hands to finally find a soft one to hold and forgive his sins against the gods and the next generation. For this gift, the animal tamer never asked for anything in exchange, except to be loved day and night by the animal she tamed, a wish which the animal in his urge and rage seldom fulfills, and sometimes forget when the wind is on the shoulder of his sails. Thank you very much. And the last speaker for this afternoon, we have our readers, and so what else I can say but Saint John Baptist de la Salle, with Jesus in our hearts. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Please be seated. The department chair, the most important person in this room, is going to say something to us. Miss Tina Navarro.
Thank you, Sir Jonathan. It's a beautiful afternoon listening to our student leaders and to our guest readers. Just for the information of our parents and our guest readers, all the students are with us this afternoon went through the same process because this is a classroom-based activity. And this is our last activity for the year in the department. Hopefully for those who chose to be with us this afternoon, it's not only for the additional points that you will be getting from your English teachers, but more than that, it's an experience, right? And next year, we hope that you will be one of the student leaders. As our way of saying thank you, we have prepared a simple merienda. So we have our food at the Class 96 conference room. Everybody's invited. So we can go this now.
Don't be shy,